Oh my, it's Kelly White.
Hey, it's James and Praagh.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show. Hi.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, James.
Hi, Kelly. How are you, Kelly?
I'm fabulous. How are
Good.
you?
I'm great. Great. Yes. It's
Good.
Valentine's week, right? Valentine's week. What's today's date?
Valentine's Day is Sunday.
Sunday. So it's coming up.
Sunday, it's coming up.
Yes.
But there are some
But
big other tickets
yes,
that
so
are coming up this week.
astrologically wise, what's going
Well,
on?
I think we should talk about the new moon in Aquarius. It's
Is that
on the
Wednesday?
11th.
The
It's
11th.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday's the 11th.
What's the
And
moon right now? It's in Capricorn?
Capricorn, and it's going to be in Aquarius. And that's a big deal. A new moon in Aquarius is a big deal, and it coincides with the Chinese New Year, year of the metal ox.
So what does that mean?
Well, let's start with this first, and then I'll go into that
Okay,
because
and let me
this is
interrupt before you start, Kelly. I also heard there's all these other things in Aquarius too, like Venus and Mars and all that
honey.
same day, right? So like crazy.
Honey, there's 6 of them. Actually,
Oh,
7 if we count the asteroid Pallas Athena. So there'll be 7 actually. 6 planets and an asteroid, all in Aquarius on the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
and would
It's
it
a
affect
big
Aquarian
deal.
people at all? Would it affect
Oh,
them more than most people?
yeah, it
Yeah.
really
Okay.
will. It really
Okay.
will. And Aquarius is a fixed sign. It's not mutable. It's fixed. It gets a lot of strength. So we're talking about 6 planets that will bring a lot of strength and determination. That's what Aquarius means. And when you have 6 lined up like this, it's a stellium, and they are next to each other, lined up. So the power of Aquarius here is huge. It's a fixed male sign.
What does that mean, fixed, Kelly, for people that don't know?
Fixed means it means inflexible, stubborn, determination.
Okay.
Anything that's fixed is determined, and Aquarius has huge determination. I mean, that's really what these 6 planets plus this asteroid, Pallas Athena, all mean. It all means to be determined. So with the new moon in Aquarius this Thursday, you really want to look at your determination. You're going to feel the energy. First of all, don't you already feel the energy
Yeah,
this
without
week?
a doubt, 100%.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
felt it
big
Friday, as
energy.
you know. I called you on Friday.
It's true. I mean,
Kelly, help! Yeah.
this is true.
It was
and
bad. It was the most intense, very intense.
and this is the kind of week it will be, James. It's
Mm.
the same thing. You usually feel it beforehand, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the same energy. This is revolutionary energy. It's revolutionary. The last time we had 6 planets lined up like this at this degree was 1962, right before they say the age of Aquarius, which is really about beginning now. But do you remember the 60s? This
Of
is what
course, remember
brought on
the spacewalk and space, we got to
space.
space at that
Mhm.
time too, 62, 61.
Oh,
Yeah,
and that's really Aquarius energy, actually,
right,
space.
exactly.
It's because it's an air sign. So it
Right.
is actually space, and it's going to be it's about expansive. It means awakening. So this Thursday, really start thinking about what you want to do with your life, because if you dream it, Aquarius will make it happen because it has the determination. And you have a new course coming on that day, which is a great day if somebody's interested in spiritual coaching, because
Yes, that's my first
that
night of the coaching
day,
call.
it's right. I mean, it
It's
really will start to open things up for people. So it's a
it's
big,
higher
big
learning
day.
too, Aquarius, isn't it? It's a higher
Yes.
learning. Yeah.
Higher learning, new ideas. It means
Mhm.
ambition. So you take 6 planets,
Wow.
you put them in Aquarius at this time period, it just opens all doors because Aquarius doesn't back down. Just like the metal ox also
Ah,
on Thursday, Chinese
oh,
New Year, the
interesting.
metal ox. Metal ox, think about it. An ox is determination,
Yeah.
doesn't back down. It's also very confident. It's very interesting, interesting one. all about getting things done and working hard. And it means to create a solid infrastructure. So people will be thinking, dreaming, and doing, because Aquarius is a doer and metal
A
ox
thinker,
is a
right?
doer and a
And a
thinker,
thinker. I mean,
great
Aquarius so
thinker.
mental, 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 right?
Mental, mental, mental. So
Yeah.
and the saying for this year for the metal ox, by the way, is keep calm, carry on, and do the best you can,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
which is really what this year is about. Keep on. We're still in it. Keep going, keep going, keep on.
Yeah, never give up. Never give up.
Never give up.
And always be
Never. It's
positive,
not even
not
an
negative.
option.
No.
Exactly.
And last week we had a wonderful show. I really enjoyed that show last week. It was
Wasn't
really
that
incredible. Yeah, the
great?
intelligence of the spirit world. And Kelly had an amazing experience
Yeah.
during our show. Please tell them what happened.
Okay.
I'm still
This
freaking out.
this is an unbelievable story. So all of us that do this work have a friend or two that are not sorry about that. Hold on. Let me just get this back in my ear. Mercury in retrograde.
Yeah,
Uh, friend, I have a friend, and all of us have this. A friend that just doesn't really believe what I do. And I don't care. It doesn't bother me in the slightest if they believe, they don't believe. It doesn't matter to me. But I've had this girlfriend Terry since we were sorority sisters
wow.
in college. I met her when I was 18, and she's a left brain lawyer and doesn't, like I said, doesn't believe what I do, and that's okay with me. She's never watched my show. I didn't even know she knew I had a show, let alone I'm doing a show with you. I didn't think she even had a clue. So apparently, during our show last week, which we were talking about the intelligence
To the
of the
spirit world.
spirit world,
Hmm.
okay, she and her husband,
Beyond human comprehension. Yeah.
exactly, exactly, and she and her husband were in their backyard in Los Angeles at about this time, and they were making a toast to her mother. It was her mother's birthday. Her mother had died 10 years ago. And they were making a toast, they're having champagne, they're watching my show, which frankly is a miracle of all miracles. And she said, all of a sudden, out of the blue, a balloon floated down from the sky
Well, they were
between the
celebrating her
two of them.
birthday. You
Her
left that out.
mother's birthday, her
Birthday. Right.
mother's birthday. And a balloon floated down. And Renee, could you show us a picture of that balloon? Wait till you check this out, everybody.
Pretty weird. It's pretty
This is
wild, crazy.
unbelievable. It was a
It
mother's birthday, and this happy birthday balloon, there it is,
fell
floated
from the sky.
between the two of them as they're toasting her mother's birthday, and she had passed away 10 years ago. So my girlfriend calls me and says, and I hadn't talked to her in months, and
Wow.
she said, I can you explain this? Because I was watching your show, and I really don't watch your show, and I'm really not a believer, but what do you
She is
think?
now.
I said, "Well, what do you is that a real question? Well, what do you think?" That was your mom. I said, "How in the world could that balloon fall from the sky at whatever time it was in Los Angeles and between the two of you and it said happy birthday on it?"
And come on, really, the odds of that are beyond. Yeah,
Beyond. And
yeah.
they work hard on that side to wake us up here.
They work so hard on that side, pulling strings and making things happen and helping us. And the best thing we could do is be open, really being open, and we can help them by being still, by being open, not putting up, getting a stillness, not creating havoc, not getting in the way.
Yeah,
As the Buddhists say, the water, don't fight the current. You got to just let it flow, let the river flow. Don't fight it because
yeah,
it's going to flow. And it's really we have to get to that point. We know that our highest good is taken care. We're taken care of, but we get so
absolutely.
caught up in the human part of ourselves, that ego part of ourselves. It's hard for a lot of people to lift themselves up to a higher level. And I understand that some people don't have the tools. Some people don't
Mhm.
know them, don't believe in themselves, don't love themselves. So I don't know, just continue watching the show, I think, and
Yeah, well,
read and learn and open yourself up because the wisdom, is power. Is it really is.
it
Knowledge is
is.
power.
It is.
Right.
And I
And
think,
tonight's show is about the miracle of life. We want to talk about the
miracles.
miracle of life because every day is a miracle. Life itself is a miracle, really.
Well, how you and I came up with this is we were talking last week, which is really how our shows evolve.
It's always how our
And you
shows do. Well, we
and
don't
you
say go
s-
with social media. We just talk.
we just start talking and you said, "Oh, I'm in the garden and it's such a miracle." And then you went into and the seasons and how do the
It's
seasons
true.
it's such a miracle.
It's so true.
And then we said, "Let's do a show on miracles."
Yeah, and it's really and I got this information downloaded to me before my contacts on earlier, that everybody that's watching this now, if you want to, but I heard Spirit say to me, you all should have a journal to write
Mm,
things down each week, because they said to me, which I because
mm.
I write things down all the time and I keep them papers. You'll turn back maybe a few months, you look back and say, oh wow, that's incredible. Wow, that insight. Or you'll have an insight during the show. So it
Yeah.
might be a good idea to do that. But yeah, we were talking about the miracle of life, and just I don't know. The more I do this work as a medium in the 40 years here,
Mhm.
people say to me, "Aren't you tired of it? You've seen, how many readings, and you've seen every kind of death." And I said, "Wow, no. The more I do it, the more humbled I am. The more you
Right.
know, the more you realize you don't know. There's just
Right.
such an awe, and you're so humbled by all of it, by the miracle of
Yes.
communication, by just like we were talking about the seasons. I mean, how does the universe know and the life force known to close down and the flowers bloom and the birds, sing and the nighttime, the planets move and the earth spins and it's like, wow, it's
Well,
incredible.
it's so funny you said that. So I'm snowed in and I'm looking at, like at
And
10
there's the
feet of
snow.
snow, and I'm saying, how is this going to work? Like, how does this work? Where does the water go? I've never had this experience before. But the miracle will be all of a sudden seeing the little spring when spring things start to come up again. And now I'm really going to be focused on the miracles of it.
You will be. You
Oh,
will be. You'll be. I've been working on this garden. I've been working out in California, so it's easier. But I planted bulbs and seeds about 3 or 4 months ago, and now they're starting to come up. A little bit here and there, and I'm just every day. And it's a miracle that they know when to come up, and they follow the sun, and the properties of
right.
the soil, and there's so many things that go into it. I mean, just the miracle of life itself. Being born and creating a body and the mother's body, and it's just amazing to
It's
me, and
amazing.
we never should lose touch with that,
Oh
really.
my, how about the miracle of science?
Miracle of science, the
Miracle of
miracle of
science.
science, yeah.
And people have asked me over and over about the vaccine. And here's what my belief is, that on the other side, they have scientists and doctors working on this. And I believe that they all put this together and sent it down for us to
With
have this
without
vaccine.
a
I mean, it
doubt,
happened
Kelly,
that fast, right?
without a
Because
doubt,
they were
without a
like
doubt.
already Johnny on the spot. We better start working on this. And here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I once heard that scientists, it's that spark of God that is inspired. The spark of God is really brought into the minds of these men and women, these scientists. And well, it's true of all of us, really, in our own selves. We're all creative forces, right? And
Mhm.
and it's how we use that energy. And some are their mind, their way they who they are, the makeup is towards the science or left brain or figure things out or
Right.
mathematics. And
Or
other people are very
music
creative,
or art
music
or
or art.
acting.
Yeah,
Yes.
or mediumship or
Yes.
baking, cooking. It's how you use it's the same energy, but it's how you use that energy. It's almost like I want to say radio stations. You dial into it, tune into a certain radio station, a certain
Yes.
frequency, and you're comfortable with that frequency, maybe because you've had many lifetimes in that type of art or
Right.
academics, and that feels familiar to you, and you want to explore that and expand that knowledge even more so. So, like
Right.
for instance, as a medium, I know I've worked many lifetimes in service, whether it's religious work, service work. I've done that. I knew to get to this point of mediumship,
Yeah,
it took many lifetimes to get, I would say, to this point.
for sure.
And to this point of reaching millions of people around the world,
Yeah.
it took lifetimes to get here. And, it's just, I
And
couldn't,
that's a miracle,
and that's a miracle. That's a miracle.
because each time you'd be able to come in, you have a body, you have to choose a family to come in. And then the fact that then you get the break, you get here, you start to do the work, and then you get a break to be on the world stage to help people. I mean, think of
But
all the
but
miracles that
Kelly,
happen.
it's also I think I think that we come back, we perfect our abilities. So with each lifetime, we tend to perfect our abilities and more and more and more, and we hone it down to a certain degree. So another lifetime we're meant for, or is destined, if you will, that we've worked so hard to create that, to hone it to this certain level that we use that in the lifetime, use it for the human life.
Yes.
And I think there are souls that are dedicated to doing that. So in several lifetimes, or maybe lifetimes, they'll work really hard in between lives, and let's say they're going to be a scientist and they work very hard understanding academics and mathematics
Mhm.
and formulas and so forth. And their makeup, their soul makeup, let's say, has that bent, with a better word, bent
Yes.
inclination
Yeah.
toward those academics, towards that way, as we all do. And I think we perfected each lifetime,
Yep.
and that one lifetime it is that here it is. And I think it's really being an open vessel, being
Mhm.
true to yourself, and
Yeah.
really not letting anyone else really influence you away from your path. but they have to support you in your path.
I got
You know,
chills when you said that. That is the truth.
true.
That
And
is the truth.
because so many people believe people that are not right for them, that don't support them, that don't see them for who they really are. And when you ask, I feel sometimes when people ask people's advice, the advice given is done through a filter of that other person, and you never know what their filter is going to say.
Right.
I mean, you never know. I mean,
Right.
it's you never know what people's agendas are. If I can put it that way, people's
That's the
agendas,
word.
and they might see and might be. I've had this many times. They're jealous, and I'd ask, and I'd be innocent. I'm like, what? Do you say jealous?
Yeah.
You never know people's agendas. It's you got
No.
to be true to yourself, and
Yep.
you got to be true to yourself. That's all. And don't let anyone hurt you. Just let yourself be again supported by loving people, and you got to love yourself because life is so short.
Oh
Don't
God.
waste your time not loving yourself because if you're not loving yourself, I think a lot of it is maybe traumatic experience as a child and so forth, but you're holding on to something, whether it's the
Right.
ego or it's the past, you're holding on to something that you really can't open up to. And
Right.
I think we come back in this lifetime to learn more about our crafts, our skills, if you will, and each other. There are many lessons, classes we come back to take and perfect. But listen, we all come back with special abilities. We all come back as diamonds and with
Right.
beautiful colors and luster, and everyone has their own colors, really. And hopefully, their colors will help infuse into your colors, and you'll make a beautiful, lovely jewel, if you will.
Jill Koch says, "How do you be true to yourself? How does one be true to oneself?"
Well, I think but I'll say so. Maybe you'll follow up, Kelly. With I think there's a number of ways. Number one, first you got to number one, forgive yourself. Okay, forgive yourself,
Yep.
and give up trying to be anything to other people, and just got to love yourself. Just forgive yourself for things. We're learning. We do things, and maybe we didn't mean to do it. We're learning, so we're here learning. So we make mistakes. So that's okay to make mistakes, but forgiving yourself and finding something new about yourself that you really love every day. I think that's the beginning. Kelly?
I always say have compassion for whatever you've gone through, whatever you've
Mm,
experienced, have compassion for yourself, then really get to tune into that compassion for yourself and then start asking yourself, what do you want to do with your life? Who are you? And it's a muscle and you start to trust yourself in it. Everything goes to know thyself because everybody else is going to have an agenda for you. Exactly what you just said, James. So you have to be true to yourself in this life. You have to
yes.
be.
Um, I have this on my desk. Be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Oscar Wilde. That's very true.
That's very true.
And you mentioned, Kelly, you said compassion, and compassion means with passion. You have to have passion. Have passion
Yes,
in anything you do.
so
I
true.
find that I get excited. Something's new. Let's say, I don't know, discovered something, maybe a new flower in my garden, or I don't know, I read a great book or saw something, or have an insight for something, or wrote a book about something, or I tell Kelly, I tell my
Right.
friends, and it's like, I want to share this, or I do a great reading with someone, and we learn these
Yes.
things. We
Right.
want to share it because we're passionate. It's going to change people. You want to share it
Right.
with people. I think that excitement, we all should have that excitement, and we shouldn't
Yes.
wait for someone else to light that spark. We should light it ourselves.
Right.
Again, by enjoying yourself. Have joy. Laugh at yourself every
Oh,
day.
well,
I did
and
several
that's
times.
really one of the big keys is because laughter releases hormones that
And
make
it
you
brings
feel
the
good,
vibration. It
and
brings
it
the
raises your
frequency.
vibration.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
laughter is a big one. I mean, listen, we're human. We're having a human experience right now. Enjoy the ride while you're here. We're
It is what it
having
is.
it
It is what it
is.
is. That's all that it is. Don't give
Yeah.
it more than it is. It is what it is. And that's all that it is. Yes, and it can be scary people and some disease and death involved, but it is what it. Do the best you can. It's all we can do is the best we can and take care of yourselves and each other. That's the best we can do.
Absolutely. Let me see. I have a question. Do you know before someone passes?
Know what? Know what?
I
Tell me what?
I don't know.
No,
I'm not really sure about
I've
that.
only had one with that. I've had once in a reading many years ago at the Beverly Garland Hotel when I first started doing demonstrations in LA over
Oh
30
God, I
years ago.
remember that hotel.
And I remember standing up for the crowd, and it was I think it was a lady having the reading, and a relative said to me, "She's going to come over here soon." Now, I'm not going to say as a medium, you don't say, "Oh, you're going to drop dead soon." You don't say that. Irresponsible.
Hmm.
But you would say something like, I think I said, "Have you been to the doctor lately? Everything good with your health? Good. Good. Keep on. Make sure your records are up to date." And I couch it in a humorous way, but yet they get the point. But you don't
Right.
hurt somebody. You never hurt someone. No.
Right.
And I've never had. I mean, that's the only time I've ever had that, except for psychic things about. Okay, I'm going back now. Now I'm gonna go fall back. I was once in the middle of where the hell was I? In Texas or some godforsaken place. I don't know where I was. I don't know where I was. I was doing some show somewhere, and I went to sleep one night. And I think it was a Motel 6. It was really bad. Obviously, they had no money to pay me, so it was a Motel 6. And I remember I was falling asleep, and I thought of Shirley Booth. Shirley Booth, and I loved her in Hazel,
Hazel.
and she that movie she did with Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
Oh God, she was great. Next day, she died. So that
So
was a
she
psychic
popped
insight.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a psychic insight, and I've had a couple of times
Wow.
those things. That's the only time.
Shirley Booth.
Shirley Booth. Shirley Booth.
That's interesting. I only had that
Wee!
happen one time with me where was doing a reading with a fellow and I said, "Have you been to the doctor lately?" And
Yeah,
he said, "Yeah, I was just there last week." I said, "Well, what did the doctor say? Have you thinking about going back to the doctor?" I mean, I was so concerned and actually he had a heart attack a week later. Died.
yeah.
It was the
Wow.
first time that had ever happened. Never happened again after that.
Wow. And the spirit
Yeah.
people know. I mean, they are allowed to. I believe that when you're given stuff, you give it out,
Yeah.
and but you have to be responsible. You give it out, but it also certain things are hidden from us.
Oh,
So
for sure.
how people pass away, sometimes it's hidden. People ask us all the questions about different things, and sometimes you can't give an answer because that
Right.
information is hidden from us for
Well,
whatever
we
reason
only
it is.
can get what we can get,
Yeah,
and you're right. I mean, it's we're not supposed to know every single thing. It's not
true,
possible. It would be
true.
bad for us, actually.
Yeah, it would be
Well,
bad for us.
gosh,
When we Brenda Smith, a number of occasions I have seen someone and known that I would see them again, and they died shortly after. Oh, there you go, Brenda. So, yeah. So a lot of people do have that experience,
yeah,
precognition of someone passing over. It does happen. Some people come to my classes and they say, "I knew when someone was going to die. I knew I had a gift." I said, okay, more
exactly.
psychic gift, but yes.
Uh, Let me see. Lynn Matilla says, "How do we know we are on the right path?"
Oh, wow,
Good question.
wow.
Well,
Do you love what you do?
yeah,
Are you finding it exciting? I call it the art of discovery. I find something new about myself and the world around me every day. That's it. Passion, openings, doing things differently, feeling about yourself, something very different about yourself, how you have a relationship with yourself, relationship, like it's in your heart, and your
it's
heart
in your
knows.
heart. Yeah, I was just going to say that, James.
Your
It's in
heart
your heart.
knows. It's
Yeah,
not in
your
your
heart
head, it's in
knows.
your heart. Don't
Yeah.
think about it. Don't overthink it because it's in your heart, not in your head.
I mean, I could just say back in the day, 20 years ago, I was in the corporate world and I knew I was not supposed to be in the meat business. I was a vegetarian, for goodness sakes. What was I doing in the meat business? And I knew I was supposed to do something else. And it would nag and nag and nag at me until then such a time happened and my whole life changed and now I'm a medium. But I knew something was off then. And so it's a feeling you have. It's a feeling you have to use your intuition.
Your intuition, that's what intuition is about. I was doing a lot of, my God, a lot of temporary jobs. I moved to Los Angeles, lots of temp jobs. And
Yeah.
I always knew that I'd be well known as, I thought, a writer. And well, but I knew I wasn't there yet. I knew I had to go through all these different jobs to get to a space.
Mhm.
And I worked at hospitals, learned about compassion. I worked at Paramount Studios, learning legal things, learned about contracts. So I've learned a lot along the
Yeah.
way that helps me in the work. And it helps with the mediumship, of course, because the diverse background that you have helps you with with the readings and the number of different types of people you can read.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just think it's compassion. You know, within yourself, your intuition, you just know.
And would you have said that they were all miracles that led you to where you are?
All miracles. And at the time, I didn't know it, Kelly.
Right.
So at the time, I didn't know, but I knew it'd be well known. I knew that I was
Mhm.
going to do something where I thought it was well known among people. I thought it'd be writing. I thought it'd be writing. I moved to Los Angeles to be a sitcom writer. So I thought it'd be a sitcom writer, producer,
Mhm.
sitcom writer. And and I used to do visualizations. I used to learn from my life coaching course, which I put everything
Right.
in there, the techniques that I used to learn about, and I knew. I just knew, but how I got there was so bizarre and so weird. So you never know how the spirit world's going to make things happen,
Right.
but they put you, and you just got to be open. Don't be so controlling. If you control it, you're going to block it. You're going to block it. It's a nuance. It's very much a nuance. Just let yourself flow, be aware, be grounded in it, but let yourself be open to miracles happen every day. Things happen.
Mhm.
It's weird. It's like someone it's just so strange how
And
you'll meet somebody and you never know and
you can't push it.
you can't push it. You can't control
Uh,
it. You can't push it because you block it then. You
right.
block it. So
Right.
surrender, learn to surrender, being still, knowing that it's going to happen. But
Right.
again, patience is a big one. Learning
It's a big
patience.
one why we come here. Patience is a huge virtue.
Patience is a big one here because I think part of my theory is that when we get to the other side of life, I know that the vibration is so much faster. So when you
Yeah.
think of something that mental world, you think of it, it manifests. And I believe that when we come back onto this earth level, there's a memory, a soul memory we have that we think of
Yes.
something is going to appear. And then we're in a physical three-dimensional world where things are much slower here. I'm like, what's going on?
Well,
Let's
and
learn
then
patience.
people get depressed,
Yeah.
defeated, negative because it's not going to way the way they planned it, but it's actually the way that it's supposed to unfold.
You gotta give them time to make things happen.
Yes.
You gotta give them time to
Yes.
make the set because you gotta,
Yes.
for your stage show because it takes time, it takes effort, and all you gotta do is, give them the ingredients to work with. Give them the ingredients, which is believing in yourself, believing in your vision, and letting go of control, but knowing it's
Right.
going to happen, and passion for what you do, compassion and humility, and believing in
Right.
yourself, loving yourself.
Absolutely. So here,
Yeah.
Ann Stone says, this is a good one, James. She said, my brother has COVID, and I'm so sorry, Ann. She says, and is very
Sorry, Ann.
depressed to the point of wanting to die. How can I help
Oh,
him find contentment here? So, first of all, start talking to him all the time. All the time. Tell him he'll get through this. Tell him that this is his opportunity to have patience and love and compassion for what he's going through and keep his spirits up. Keep his spirits up. That's really what happens when somebody has COVID, and I've had just too many people now around me with that have had it. You want to keep their energy up. Their spirit has to stay up because they cannot lose hope.
and many people have had been diagnosed with COVID, positive for COVID, but haven't died. So more people being diagnosed
Yes.
that haven't died than have died. So that's something we
Yes.
got to remember. It's
Yeah.
really important that he knows that. Just
Mhm.
because you have COVID doesn't mean you're going to pass away. I've had several friends of mine who
Yeah.
have had it, they're positive, and they all lived. They're all fine.
Mhm.
So just be in that mindset, be in that
Yes.
positive mindset. You don't need to give any energy to that he's going to die because that might not be in the plan. It's a
Right.
wonderful time to reevaluate his life. He needs to
Right.
reevaluate his life, values in his life, what's important and what's not, and what's it going to do with moving ahead. There's an opportunity to stop and really see what he's valuing in life, reevaluate his life. I
Right.
think.
So true. I agree
Yeah.
with that one. So true. I think
I'll
everybody
let you get to the comments because I can't read them.
Oh,
So
that's okay. Well, I can. I can
I
read.
know I even have my contacts. I can't
Um,
really. I'll be like
let's
squinting.
see. That's okay.
I see
Yes,
the
Lisa.
names very well, but they're
Oh, Lisa Rudolph says Mercury's retrograde. Yes, it
yes.
is. And that goes until February 20th. So everybody, electronics, communication, contracts, all affected. I'll tell you what it's a great time to do. It's a great time to go back and look at your life. What do you want to do with your life now? Do you need to get through some traumas? Do you need to get through some schooling? What do you need right now? It's a great time to go back with this Aquarian new moon to look at your life and then make some good choices here.
And also things that you've done before. For instance, I'm writing a book, but I started, but I want to go back to it. It's good to go back to things, projects you've already started. It's a good time to go
Yes.
back and
It's a great
reevaluate,
time for
redo them.
that.
Yep.
Cheryl Wells says, I love this. Miracles happen in the simplest of ways each and every day. It is our own awareness of the miracle moments that change our hearts and souls. Thank you. Much love. Is that the truth, Cheryl?
We love Cheryl. I know Cheryl very well. Cheryl, you're a miracle in my life when I met you. So there, girl. And she does some incredible work, Cheryl. She's a good, really good medium and student, and she's done some great work. And yeah, I'm not going to go more into it, but she's helping young girls, and it's just great
Oh,
work. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's so
I can show
fabulous.
some of that when I'm doing a demonstration. I'll say, look at the audience, and there's Cheryl. I'm like, Cheryl, whether it's New
Well, hi,
Hampshire or
Cheryl.
California or Chicago.
Oh, I love that. That's
Hi, Cheryl.
wonderful. So Jennifer Lynn says, when we talk to souls that have passed, can they hear us?
Yes, very much so. So they
You
live in a very
betcha.
mental vibration. So we're in a physical world, and our thoughts, they read our thoughts. They live in a very
Yeah.
mental world with all of our thoughts. So all of our thoughts, they see our thoughts. They see our prayers 10 times, 20 times stronger than we create them. I often think prayers are just, pearls of love sent,
Oh,
unconditional
yeah.
love sent to them. So they hear them. So they always hear your prayers,
Mhm.
always. It's a very mental world, so they hear everything.
They love it too.
They
They
do
love when
love
you
it.
talk to them. They
Yeah,
love
they
it.
do. They're not dead. They're not a figment of your imagination. So many
No.
spirits come back and say, "I'm not dead. I'm not your mother on the
Yeah.
plane. My God, I was
Oh,
on a
yeah.
plane coming back from, I think, New York to California,
Yeah, New York.
and
And
her
you didn't
mom
even
came."
know that my mom had
You know,
died.
she yes, and she said,
Yeah.
"I'm not dead. I'm not dead." We would tell them, is that what she said? "I'm not dead.
I'm
You
not
know,
dead. I'm not
I'm not
dead.
dead." She's screaming it to me.
She
So,
was
"I'll
the
tell Lou. I'll
she went
tell
to
him."
you first.
She went to me
Yeah,
first. Yeah.
first, you know? Oh, that was it was unbelievable actually, because you called me and said, "Your mom passed."
Did I? I
And
don't
yeah,
remember.
and I was beyond whatever shock and horror is. I was not horror, I was just in shock. Yeah, that was amazing.
But she was popping out of the body way before the
Oh,
actual death because they do. They tend to pop out of the body
well, let's
when they're
explain
coma.
that because
Yeah.
that
So
is true.
so the soul will leave the body, whether it's through dementia, Alzheimer's, coma. They
Mhm.
tend to leave, especially Alzheimer's, dementia. They'll go out of the body and check things out on the other side or around the life people they know here. They do that, and the final time they go is that we call it death. When the soul leaves the body at the top of the head. We leave our body all the time. We leave our body. It's just a matter of a shift in consciousness. So, for instance, I'll tell you a couple of them. When you're reading a book and you're looking at this book and you're really getting into the story, and then something happens, you don't remember what you just read. You got to turn the pages back.
Yeah.
You've left your
Yes.
body. Okay, you can say you left your body, or you're driving the car and all of a sudden the eggs are passing. What
Yes.
happened to the egg? Wait a minute, you're changing your consciousness
Yes.
has shifted. That's really
Mhm.
what it is. So it's that kind of a shift that happens when you leave your body. That's how easy it is when you leave your body. You're out of your body. Where am I? It's just like that. It's not this big it's like that. It's like a breath that come in with a breath, you go out with a breath.
Oh,
And that's really what it's about.
wow.
So don't expect the big like dun da da. It's not
Right,
like that.
right.
It's very, very natural. They say it's a very natural thing. Oh, it's very natural. You feel very good. People should look forward to it. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about this last night. I think, wow,
What?
it's getting closer. I'm getting excited.
You're not going
It's
anywhere.
not going anywhere yet, but and I thought, I wonder if people like get excited, like whatever, 10, 20 years before they go or whatever, that there's an excitement. I don't know. Maybe it's because I know better, but
No,
we
I
should
think
look
you and
forward
I
to
would
it.
probably look forward to it.
We should look forward to it. It's a
Yeah.
big we've done a lot here, and it's our time to go home, and this is
Right,
not our
right,
home. Yeah, so
right.
this is just a temporary place we're in. It's a temporary holding space for us to
But
learn. This is cool.
even that whole thing of leaving the body is a miracle. I mean, the way it's been designed, that's a miracle.
Breath is a miracle. Breath.
Breath.
Breathing in, breathing out. We can change everything by our breath with our thoughts. Our thoughts and our
Yeah.
breath can change conditions of the body,
Yes.
conditions in our world, conditions that we're living with. With our thoughts, we can change everything. We can change those conditions. You have to find out
Absolutely.
what conditions are in your mind. And illness, I think, many types of illness, I think, are just really what's going on in your mind. It's conditions you've created in the mind that sit there,
Yeah.
and maybe other factors involved along with those that create something.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
that's
really
why you
true.
want to keep your thoughts positive and upbeat. This is
Yes.
why. This is really one of them. So Sherry Robbins Canner says, "Hi, I'm almost done with your book, Healing Grief, which
Oh,
is
it's
a
a
great
goodie.
book you
It's a
did,
classic.
James."
It's a classic. Yes.
She says, "Which one do you recommend if I'm starting my journey to healing and helping others?" Great question.
I would take my healing course at my school, the
Yeah.
JP School of Mystical Arts. Is a healing course that is really incredible. All different types of healing. It's a very thorough course. Look into that.
Mhm.
That's what I recommend.
Let's be a great.
It's a very thorough one too. Okay,
Sue Wells says, "Positive thoughts bring positive results." Right on.
right on. It's very true. What
Teresa
you
says,
think is
"No,
what you get.
James, you can't go home yet."
I do every night. Yeah.
You're not going anywhere yet.
No, I'm not.
That would not work. Let's see. What do I have here? Um,
Lovely
hold
that
on.
everyone's writing in. Thanks,
It's
everybody.
okay. So Anna Murphy says, recently when I meditate, my head and arms start moving, being guided and moving around. Sometimes it's a repetitive flow, as if some force is moving me. Not that any idea what this is about?
What do you think, Kelly?
Well, your vibration starting to rise. And when the energy starts to come through, your vital life force starts coming through, your energy starts to rise, your vibration rises, your head's going to move, your arms are going to move, the energy's going to flow. It's almost like a yoga, like almost in yoga. You know how energy starts to flow when you move into certain positions? What do you
Yeah,
think?
exactly same thing. I
Mm.
know, and also when I'm dancing, like when I do workshops and I
Oh
dance, it
yeah.
just
Well,
flows, and that's what
first of
happened.
all,
And when yeah,
your
exactly.
workshops, I can't wait till we can do them again.
I know
But
I miss my workshops.
I
Oh, so I
know. But
miss
I
them
mean,
so
you
much.
get everybody up and going because
It's
the
true.
energy starts to move.
Change that frequency, and dancing does that,
Hmm.
brings her. But also, I think that, and it's a good question, and I do believe exactly what Kelly said, but also just something else to consider, perhaps, that when you're working, many times when you're sitting, let's say in the stillness, or you're sitting to meditate and quiet yourself, and you're really sitting to being aware. If you're opening your awareness, we have to consider that that might be a situation where the spirit guides are working with you as well, and they work with your energetic body and
Yes.
the light body, and they come into the
Yeah.
auric field. And when you feel the sense that someone's, when you feel like a wave, you're moving, it could be that someone is coming into the auric field and you're feeling their frequency, the vibration, and it shifts you. So it's just physics.
Wow.
It's actual physics. When something comes in, as Newton said, you move in, and it's something, there's a counter movement. See, so that's what happens. So you'll feel that as well, especially if you're sitting in a sense of a development circle, if you will,
Oh yeah.
working for mediumship. You will feel the guides, and you'll feel the energy shifts around you, and you're going to start moving as well. So it's kind of a combination of what you said, and also in spirits in your space.
Isn't
Yeah,
that's a miracle?
that's a miracle. It's just a miracle. It's a
Right.
miracle.
And
It's a miracle.
don't you find too, I mean, I'm always in awe of the people that we do get to meet. To me,
Oh,
that's a miracle. Just the people that are in our lives. You're in my life, I'm in your life, and then everybody else that comes around is it's a miracle.
and I always say to people, okay, you've heard me say this many times, and I've said it in the show probably. The miracle to me is, and we've met many people through the readings. I mean, I met hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
people throughout the world, and I've learned from every single audience member. I've learned from every single spirit, and
Yep.
it's just incredible. One thing, it's a common theme, and I want people to know this. And there's a book called Unfinished Business I wrote, which everybody should read that
Oh
book,
yeah. It's a great book.
because yeah, what it goes on to, what I found is, I think people are wonderful, and I've seen so many people. And the hardest part of my job is not doing readings and contacting dead people. The hardest part of my job is I see you for the being that you are, that jewel, that diamond, that beautiful, the abilities, the gifts, your colors, and you don't see it for yourself. And
Yes.
my wish, of course, is to hope for you to see it in this lifetime, to get a hold of it and see the
So
beauty.
true.
And that's what
Mhm.
I wish. I wish that. And the Unfinished Business book is all about that, about having no shouldas, wouldas, or couldas, and just living your
Wow.
life for today,
Wow. That's
But that's
so
that's what I've learned the
true.
most, to help people to see who they really are. Not who you
Because
think they are, but who
no,
they are.
that's so true because when you are back home on the other side, you don't want to have that I wish I did, I could have, I would have, I regret that I didn't.
I've had so many people come through. I mean, so many thousands of people. That's why I
Yeah.
wrote Unfinished Business. Thousands of
Yeah.
people come through, and they'd say this one thing: if only I knew then what I know now, I would have made better choices and really lived my life, not waited for it. So
Wow.
that's why I say, people, you got to do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. You might not have tomorrow. Do it today. You know?
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a miracle even what you just said. I mean, it's a miracle that people can listen actually to what we're saying, what
Miracle that we
you're
can go
saying.
around the world with this devices,
Yeah.
technology we
Wow.
have. It's
That's
just,
just
and if it's used for the
amazing.
right things in the right way, boy, the vibration is up there. If used the wrong way,
Right.
it brings the vibration down.
Right. Okay. Andrea Giordano says, my brother took his life and he's the only spirit I never feel, and it's been 15 years. I miss him.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, are you still grieving? Are you still grieving? I mean, do you ever find, James, that grief gets in the way or some
Very
deep
much so.
sadness, and then
Yeah,
you kind of
yeah.
project that they're really right there, but you
Well,
can't feel them
you just
because
said
you're in
you said the right
such,
word,
yeah,
projection. So really, in suicides, we got to think about suicides, that there's really many different uh, uh, scenarios, if you will, with suicide, because
yeah,
number one, people think, oh my God, they're going to be lost forever. They're earthbound. They're in
right,
hell. None of that happens.
yeah,
None of that happens.
no,
Every soul is saved, and there are those in the spirit world whose job it is to help those with
hmm,
that mindset of a suicide. They help them over,
yeah,
and that person will find that they're in a therapy type of thing, or they're in a hospital type of thing. They'll see their loved ones, and they just got to work out the mental part of it, or the emotional
yeah,
part of it. That's really what they're working out, and maybe that was also part of the lessons for them and for their soul group. We don't
yeah,
know,
right,
but we got to be very careful, as Kelly said, not to project our own stuff onto them.
right,
Um, and I'm sure he's around. I'm sure you just got to open yourself up and listen. But along with that grief comes how he killed himself and why did he do it and all this stuff with there.
Right.
So we got to let that stuff go. That's old. That's not who he is. Feel his love. Start feeling his love. Ask him for his love, and you'll begin to sense him.
That's a
Guarantee it.
great idea. Great message,
Hmm.
James. So
Hmm.
Marta Alvera Fensky says when a deceased family or friend comes to our mind, does that mean
Ah,
that they are with us in that moment
ah.
or that they are thinking about us?
Very good, Marta. Very, very good. Could I just answer this, Kelly? Is that
Oh,
all right? Okay.
please.
I say this all the time that we'll be driving the car and all of a sudden we have a thought of our mom who passed over.
Right.
Did you ever think that your mom is sitting right next to you and you're just receiving the thought that she's transmitting? So Marta is very, very accurate. I'd say 90% of the time we have a thought about loved ones that passed over. They're in our space transmitting a thought from their mind to our mind. And that's what we're receiving. So they're right around us. So we got to
Wow.
think about that. That really is what it is. They're
Absolutely.
always around us, but they're looking for just the time they can come through, and then we'll get it. Whether it's in the shower, whether it's driving a car, whether it's reading a book, the mind is open and then come through at that time. Otherwise, they have to deal with all these thoughts that we have, 90,000 thoughts a day, and to squeeze in there, and our
Right.
control freaks that we are, we got to, so they usually come when it's still. But yeah,
Right.
that's very much they're there with us.
Right. It's so true. It's so
And
true.
let me just say, if you get into the
Please.
stillness of your being and you relax the mind and learn how to relax that mind, you'll hear them much more often
Right.
because you
Right.
give the space to come in that way.
Right. Right. So Terry Haley keeps asking, should I write a paranormal book? Sure, why not, Terry? If you have
Why
something to
not?
say, why not? Do it. If you have
What do you
something to
think, Terry?
say,
Yeah,
why not?
why not?
Do it.
Your
Now's the
point of
time.
view. Yeah,
If you
now's the
if
time with
now's
Aquarius.
the time. New
Perfect
moon
time.
on Thursday. Start putting your ideas out and then taking action because
And
that's
Terry,
what Aquarius
the only thing is
does.
you got to finish it. I don't want you procrastinating. I see you procrastinating. Don't want that.
Exactly. So Molly G. Powell says, how do you hear them? I think she means, how do you hear the other side?
Ah,
Well, I mean, you can hear, sometimes I actually hear it. I mean, I'm a
yeah,
clairaudient. I actually hear it. But if you're not clairaudient, you might feel some energy near you. You might smell something. You might have a thought that comes in your head. A book may fall from the top of your closet or something and fall on the floor. A balloon might pull in front of you.
right.
Who
It's all
knows?
signs.
All
So
signs.
yeah, everyone is different, so we're all made up very differently. So even Kelly and I, our mediums, we work very differently because we're made up differently. So,
Hmm.
clairaudience, when you hear it, to me, I describe it as Kelly. You can hear the actual voice sometimes, like Kelly
Hmm.
can. Um, I tend to hear it like a day, like you hear a thought of your own self during the day. To me, it's like that. I get a thought in my head, but along with the thought comes a personality. I get this
Mm.
personality, a strong personality that comes with that thought. And sometimes I'll see things clairvoyantly. It depends on how the spirit wants to communicate. There are some spirits, just like in life,
Yeah.
there are people that are more visual, some more
Yeah.
auditory, some more sensing, emotional.
Yeah.
So you'll get them that way. You'll get them the way they were. So if someone's very visual, you'll get visions of them.
Wait.
They'll place visions.
It's so funny, James, because I have trouble in this lifetime remembering what anybody looks like. I have a really hard time with, and so on the other side, when I'm doing a reading, I may have trouble describing it, but I can hear everything, but I have
Yeah.
trouble describing what they look like, or I can get
Yeah.
characteristics, but I'm not
Yeah.
as visual.
Yeah, to me, it's always, it's again different with each spirit how they
Yeah.
want to communicate. I think clairsentience is my number one, and clairaudience as well. But I do get clairvoyance. Many times I get the clairvoyance when they're showing me evidentiary things.
Got it.
Their jewels, their diamond necklaces in the second drawer at the top, and they will show me where that dresser is located in the house. They do that sort of
Right.
thing.
So Patricia Dahl Bibi Ruha, now that is a name.
Well,
Does
that's nice.
being an empath block my spiritual growth or being open? No,
Just the opposite.
just the opposite. Patricia, being an empath is the greatest gift of all
It's
because
nothing,
you're open to everything. It's a
nothing
fact,
negative.
nothing negative. It's the greatest gift. In fact, frankly, for spiritual growth, you need empaths very good. You need some of that. And so that's a good thing.
Believe in your magic, Patricia. It's believing in
Yeah.
your own magic is what it is. It's magic. I mean, it's just talk about miracles. It's miracles. It's your makeup. It's your soul's makeup. You're made as a sensitive and empath. And there's a
Right.
reason, God, the power, whatever you want to call that, didn't make mistakes.
Right.
We're made the way we're supposed to be made because we're to live this way. We have things to do in this lifetime. So
Mhm.
never negate your abilities or yourself
And we're made to be here with different gifts and honor all of your gifts, everybody.
and all the different
S-
people too in our lives.
Oh,
Reminds me of all those people, the ones who treat us
yeah.
the worst, probably the best ones we're going to learn from.
Boy,
Right? Our
is that
greatest
true?
teachers. They're our
Our
greatest
greatest
teachers.
teachers. As a matter of fact, I am
Speaking of
doing,
greatest teachers,
speaking
this
of,
weekend, right? Is it this
no,
weekend?
it's the following. It's the
Following week.
27th.
Oh, 27th.
I'm doing bad
Siblings.
siblings. And James is going to do a great meditation with
I
this.
am.
But if you've had a difficult sibling, and who
We all
hasn't,
have.
then please join us on February 27th. Oh my gosh.
I'll be listening to that whole show, Kelly.
Oh, what? Just
Because
be there the whole time. It'd be
yeah, I will.
great.
I will because yeah, it'd be
We
interesting
have
to
a
hear
lot
it.
to say about it. It'll be really interesting, everybody. Robin Herbert says, "How do we remember past lives?"
Oh boy, why would you want to?
That's so
you know,
true.
it's there in our souls, so it's embedded in the soul memory. So we have to
Mhm.
assess the soul memory, and there's ways of doing that.
Yeah,
One is being regressed. Past life regression is one. I
that's
do
one
those.
way. Yeah.
Many people do. There's a lot of regressionists around there. One way. Um, I
Another
mean,
way is if you're drawn to a certain area or a certain time period, you probably had some sort of a life there. I mean, I'm really big on what goes on in this life because this is a big life. So, why are those difficult people our greatest teachers? Janice Peterson says, because we learn the most.
because they
We
push
learn the
us to our
most.
limits.
They push us. So, what are we going to learn? We're going to learn compassion, kindness,
Patience,
patience,
forgiveness,
forgiveness.
unconditional love,
And that's why we come here.
understanding.
That's why we come here. It's not
But
complicated.
if people in our lives were always nice to us, we wouldn't learn anything,
Right.
right? We'd learn
Right.
anything.
Oh,
What
we
the
would learn
difficult ones.
nothing.
So,
If there wasn't dark, we wouldn't have,
oh,
you need both. You need them both
yeah.
here.
So sometimes when things that happen, let's say at work, and you get fired or whatever happens. And I was once fired from a job. They accused me of stealing something from someone's rifle. They call it from rifling through a desk. I don't even know what the word rifling meant. I'm like, "No, I'm just a temp. I don't do that." They wanted to get rid of someone, and they got rid of me and did it that way. And it's like, what? It was weird, but it happens for a reason because how do we not know? Like, for instance, me, a month later, I
Right.
had another great job. So things happen for a
Right.
reason. Oh, there was a miracle here we go, the miracle of life.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason, always happen for a reason. At the time it happens, you might not know why, but have faith. They're working things out on the other side of life.
Right.
They are. And you might
A-
not see it at the moment, but later on it'll show itself.
And if a
But
door closes, it's
another,
okay.
that's right.
Another
Another
one's
door.
going to open. It's
That's
going to
right.
be better.
Yes, without a
They
doubt.
know what's going on the other side. They know.
Yeah, they conspire for our highest good. They do have meetings and say, we got to help this soul this way. And they
They do
do. And
have
our loved
meetings.
ones, they do have meetings. They do
Yeah, I
meetings all the time
agree.
for us. Yep.
Janelle
Counsel.
Thompson Frost says, trust the process.
Oh, yes,
That's
and enjoy the
right.
process.
Enjoy
Wow,
it.
that's interesting. Wow.
I like that.
I always wowed by, like, delays or in traffic. I'm like, "Wow, why did
So
that
true.
happen?" And then we find out later on there was a reason why that happened. So,
That's right.
just enjoy it. Don't judge it.
Oh,
Just be
Susan
still.
Wenzel says we also learn boundaries. And that's number one, Susan, about why
Boundaries.
you have a difficult person in your life. Boundaries.
Yeah.
So you learn to respect yourself.
Love
Boundaries.
yourself.
Love yourself. Absolutely.
And when you really put boundaries in, I tell people that, well, your family or friends, whatever, they might not know that I understand you're speaking to them that way. You can't
Right.
speak to me that's unacceptable, and they might look at you
Right.
funny, but you're really teaching them about boundary work that you're
Yeah.
not allowed to speak to me that way. That's not the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to be, and
That's
they will change, and they're going to learn from you. They'll learn.
oh, they'll eventually learn. Keep
They'll
doing
eventually
it.
learn.
They'll
Keep doing
learn.
it. That's right. Keep doing it.
And
Woo!
then it becomes a game. Then it becomes fun, actually.
I think life is kind of fun. I know
It
it has ups and
is.
downs, but I'm actually doing a new course this year, and it's called The Game
Okay.
of Life, and it's based on Florence Shin's
I
book, and
know.
it's going to be a great course because it's going to be about life. It's going to be the rules for life, how to live life, the direct here's a instruction manual for life. So yeah,
I
because
think
I
it's
think
a
life should be.
great idea. And
You got
you
to
gave
enjoy
me
it.
her book.
I did years ago.
It's a
I give it to
great
everybody.
book.
Yeah, it's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Written in
Wow.
1920s, I want to say, and it's still today. It's still readily
Right.
you can use it today, definitely without a doubt.
Oh my gosh. Sarah Halstead says one of our most important lessons is to learn to love ourselves.
True.
That is very true, Sarah.
It's very true,
Very
sir.
true.
Can't love anybody else without loving yourself, and how can someone love you if
Oh
you're not
my
loving
God.
yourself?
And
Often people say it's I want to have a relationship. Why can't I have a relationship?
oh yeah,
Why is it taking so long in a relationship? Like, well, have you had a relationship with yourself first? Why would someone be energetically? Why would
right,
somebody be drawn to you if you don't have
right,
that sense of that center of loving
right,
yourself? Why would they want to come into that space?
right. Absolutely. In fact, what I would say about this new moon in Aquarius, I would say learn something about yourself. Learn something about yourself, something new, something that you enjoy, something that you learn about you.
I
Be
like people to
great
have
to.
inspire. I like people. I'm just learning something now. Sorry, I think I'm gonna have like I always have it, but people that inspire me. I
I
want to be
love
around
it.
people that inspire me.
Yeah,
That's what I'm learning about. People that inspire me.
that's great.
Yeah,
Perfect.
inspire me.
Inspi It's the best. It's boy, and you inspire so many great people, James. You're so inspirational. Let's see. Hallie Lopez says, I have grown using the concept mapping and trusting my intuition. Not sure what concept mapping is, but trust your intuition. Good. That's how
Totally.
you grow.
Yeah, I'm not sure about mapping, but
I don't know
if it
what that
works, it
means.
works.
But Deborah McDonald says, "What does always seen 1111 mean?" And we get asked that an awful lot. To me, it means that your soul is finally starting to wake up to what it needs to do. And when you start seeing the 1111, I believe it's a number that was kind of
Validation.
validation. It was an imprint almost of when it was going to be time for you to wake up. So, and
And new
it means
beginnings.
their beginnings, new
New beginnings.
beginnings. Hmm.
Hmm. And that's a miracle of life right there. Those things that happen,
Right?
that you get these signs of 111, 444. That's a miracle that they gave us to do that.
Right. I love that. Okay. Crystal Lynn says, how do we know that we've done enough prep for the next opportunity that Spirit has for us?
Oh boy, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Again, you got to go within yourself and feel like you've done enough. You have to assess it and reevaluate your life all the time. I think with the people in your life, have you helped enough
Yeah.
people in your life? Are you pleased with that? Are you pleased with yourself? Is there still stuff you could still do? I mean, I know I've done a lot, but I still want to do more for people. Might be different than mediumship, but I want to help people in different ways. Teaching is one way, but other ways as well. So,
I like
yeah.
what you said, reevaluate your life.
Reevaluate your life.
Yeah.
Really important. I mean, this
Hmm.
COVID, the first week of it, I was
Right.
on here talking about how it's important that we stop. It's a really a gift for us that we're given to reassess,
Mm.
reevaluate who we are, what our lives are about. Do they
Yeah.
count? Will we be very proud when this life ends to look back and say, wow, the world is a better place than when I found it? That's a good life.
Oh, that's a
That's
great
and that's
life.
how you know, sweetheart. That's how you know. There's your answer to your question.
But- And you can't top that. That was wonderful, James. That was just beautiful. Well, and
Well,
you
I
have
think
a
we're
new course coming up.
I do. It's a soul life course, I was talking about it today on my Facebook, my soul care, and it's a course which it's not your typical life coach course. It's a soul life coach course. So we go on to the intuition. We learn about reading other people on an energetic level. We take away our own traumas. We go explore our traumas. We see what holds us back. So it's a really great course. One of the most I don't know favorite courses from people. My I only did it 2 years ago. I came out with it. I skip a year in between, but people have loved it. They want more of it. So please check it out, the JP School of Mystical Arts, and I'm doing some online visits with you on the course. But read all about it if you will. It's a good course. So
It's a
it's a
great
JP School of
course
Mystical Arts.
if you're looking if you want to be to be a coach, a
Your
spiritual
coach,
coach.
a
It's great.
spiritual coach. It's not just a regular life
Mhm.
coach, a
A
spiritual coach.
spiritual coach.
And more people becoming more awake, right? So more
Right.
spirituality, so I
Yeah.
think we need it. We need it definitely.
Oh, we so need it. We need as much help as we can get.
40 years of doing my work, and this is I put it into this course
Wow.
because people said to
Wow.
me over the years, "You need to be a coach." Like, well, my work can do that, so that's why another reason I created the school to do courses like this.
Yes.
So
That's
thank you,
wonderful.
Kelly. Thank you very much for a
Oh,
lovely evening
thank
again.
you. It's a
Thank you,
lovely evening.
everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you, Renee.
Renee.
Appreciate your help. And until next time in the park, I'll see you around hanging out at the park.
All right. Bye,
See you next week.
everybody. Good
Bye,
night.
everyone.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kellee Show.